Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wally's Follies and Lick'em Lollies, kids. Can you believe it? It's Saturday night, and it's an interview with the Rhino. Hi, Chad.
Good day, Christopher. How are you?
Hot.
Again, I've loved the weather since I've moved here, and I'll keep loving the weather since I've moved here if it stays this way. Which is,
Are
I don't
you
have anything at all to worry about.
are you going to consume a beverage over the course of our interview?
Most indubitably, I'm probably going to start with No Name Light,
Okay.
ice cold, right from the fridge.
Sounds like a good beer on a Saturday night. I'm drinking almost the equivalent over here.
Water.
Right. So something that you brought to my attention about Big Rock's brewery closure in Vancouver.
Yes.
Now, Big Rock started in around 1986. Our good friend Ed McNally, who was just kind of frustrated with the beer scene in 1986, particularly in Ontario and out west, out in Vancouver. Ed McNally and Big Rock hit it big when Molson striked at that time too, and it just gave exposure for Big Rock and their breweries. So Big Rock's been on the craft beer scene for 40 years. Now who is Big Rock?
Well, I mean, and the other question you can ask is what is going on with Big Rock, because this isn't their first brewery to close down. They closed down shop in Toronto as well. And that experiment didn't last all that long. That was what, 2-3 years maybe?
Yes.
And I mean, it was in a horrible location in Toronto. And to get to it, you had to come off the road, go all the way around the building in a different way. Like it was off the beaten path. But I mean, what does it say too about the beer industry when a craft brewer that was a craft brewer at the very beginning can't keep businesses open? I mean, the Calgary location is still there, but nothing else they've tried to open is.
I asked you that question in a very beatnik prose. Who is Big Rock now? As you touched on what they did in Toronto, and Toronto seemed more like they were doing brew pubs and events. Like it wasn't really. I don't think the focus was ever to be mass brewing in Toronto. It's their roots are forever in Vancouver, but now that they've closed down the Vancouver brewery, there's nothing working in Toronto. What is Big Rock doing in Calgary?
Well, one thing they're doing is they're ending beer labels. Like traditional ale doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of their stuff that was a mainstay for their company doesn't exist anymore.
So are they moving towards quirky, gimmicky beers?
I think they're more moving towards beers that they don't care if they succeed or not. They seem to do a lot of like they are apparently the guys that do this beer. They are actually apparently the guys that package this for the governments. Well, for Sobeys, I guess it is. No, Superstore. It's Superstore.
Okay.
Because the real Canadian Superstore in Alberta and Saskatchewan is the ones that sell it. So they're packaging this stuff. From what I hear, they are now currently packaging the Earl's branded beers as well. So they seem to be going along the lines of let's make other people's beers, do contracting, right? Contract brewing, co-packing, that type of thing.
I'm going to call them the Metallica of the brewing industry. They're more of a business than a brewery at this point. Similar to Cool Brewery in Toronto. They just started like that. That was their main focus, was just pure contract brewing. There's nothing.
And Brunswick Beer Works in Toronto. All Brunswick Beer Works does is contract brew, and they contract brew for a lot of the European breweries that don't want to pay the excise taxes to ship things to Canada.
So I guess us old school beer guys, we kind of miss Big Rock. a little bit like the authentic when they were coming out with the wee heavies and traditional Big Rock. It was also a very affordable beer. It was an affordable, good Canadian beer.
What was the original 6-pack? Was Warthog Grasshopper Traditional? Was it not?
That's a good one. I couldn't tell you, but Warthog is definitely Big Rock. So what's left of the brewery in Vancouver? There doesn't seem to be any interest in selling it to another brewery. They're just selling off all the parts. Everything's being auctioned off, all the just piece by piece.
Yeah, and I mean, you will get breweries that will buy it piece by piece, but it's kind of I guess they figure they'll make more that way. I don't know. It reminds me kind of like if you've ever watched the show Big Lumber, they used to go to a bunch of lumber auctions for when a lumber yard would close down. They just auction the stuff off, and everybody would come to buy it. And I guess there is a lot of breweries closing in BC right now. A lot of them, especially in the Vancouver area. So I don't know if Vancouver is the epicenter of the dwindling beer purchasing in Canada. But yeah, it's intriguing to see. It's intriguing to realize that it's happening, and it's intriguing to be a witness of how it's all going down.
Yes, when you get to that level and you decide to close, I wonder if you find yourself in a position as you continue to move on, if you're in a pain in the ass situation one way or the other. If another brewery was to take over, then you have to go through the whole through the hoops of legalities, all the paperwork and everything of changing over another brewery. Selling off the pieces, piece by piece, is a complete pain in the ass, and that's what I'm getting at. It's just either way, if you're moving on, you're going to go through a pain in the ass phase.
Well, and how long do you sit on the equipment too before you decide to just start trying to piece it out because you couldn't find a buyer? Like from what that article was talking about, that brewery has closed down a while back, a few years back, and they've sat on this stuff for a while now. And I mean, you look at Nickelbrook and Collective Arts. Nickelbrook bought all the Sleeman equipment from the Nova Scotia Sleeman factory after Sleeman sat on it for almost a decade. They sat on it. Nickelbrook bought it, brought it out to the Lakeport facility, which was supposed to be the next Nickelbrook facility, and then the guys from Collective Arts were like, you know what, we don't want to work with you anymore per se. We kind of like our own building. Why don't we buy it all from you? The building, the equipment. And that's why Nickelbrook started working on a Niagara-on-the-Lake brewery, because they sold everything to Collective Arts. And we're like, hey, you know what? It frees up all of our capacity again because you have your own equipment.
Right.
You have to deal with all the bullshit of that building, like Labatt throwing cement down the drains and everything, and we don't have to deal with that anymore. So, again, how long did they sit on it hoping to find a buyer, and why didn't they buy it? Was it that it was too automated? Is it too big? Is it too, like, what kept people from wanting to buy it?
I see. We almost sound like we're employees of Big Rock when you're dealing with a big enough company and you have that disconnect with upper with management and with what's going on. This is slightly seasonal. Now about this time, maybe a little bit earlier, if you were going to be making a barley wine, you would have made it by now. You'd make it big and hoppy, and then by the winter time, if you were to consume it this winter, that's when you'd crack it open. What is the current barley wine scene?
At least in Saskatchewan, I don't think I've seen many. There's a Parallel 49 one on the shelves at Urban Cellars and Sobe Liquor, and they're both from the Christmas area. So, like you said, you'd be popping it open in the winter. So they've been sitting there since Christmas. They were part of the like mixed packs that they broke down because nobody was buying them. I don't think, at least where I am, barley wine seems to be a big thing. I don't know how barley wine is sitting in Ontario, but even when I look at breweries and their listings, I don't see a lot of barley wines anymore. Mill Street doesn't even do their famous barley wine anymore, do they?
No. The biggest thing that's coming out close to even close to a barley wine is extreme. It would be the new Sam Adams Utopia. But I think it was Brooklyn Lager, or not Brooklyn Lager, but Brooklyn Brewery was the last company to make barley wines by the 6-pack.
Oh, barley wines by the 6-pack. See, and I don't know if they still have it, but New York State had a law that they didn't like breweries from New York putting ABVs on the packaging, because if they put an ABV on the packaging, they figured people would just automatically buy the higher ABV product just to get drunk. So, I mean, think about going into something like a consumer beverages or something and seeing this barley wine in a 6-pack for U.S. prices, relatively cheap back then. I hear they've gone up now, but you see it sitting there on the shelf for I don't know, $12.99, and you're like, oh, that looks really good. I wonder if I'll like it. And you buy it and you drink like 3 of them, and then you go to do something and you fall on your face. Like
barley wine in a can.
I always found that law weird. Every time, and whenever it was explained to me, because it was explained to me by a few different bottle shops in New York, and I'm like, but what if I want a lower ABV beer? Now I don't know what to buy unless I buy something from out of state that actually has the ABV on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we know. But this doesn't make sense to me. It boggles my mind.
And it's not that they don't have to put it on. In regards to, it's their choice, but so many breweries decide not to put it on. So if in a bar scene or at a party, it's up to the host when they're selling when you're serving high ABV beers.
Oh! I got a picture from my wife. Sorry, she has my daughter out at the splash pad.
Very nice.
Yeah, they went to the splash pad that's open for 24 hours. It's open 24 hours a day, and I'm like, that's so the transient population can shower. Like
the late night crowd.
Yeah, my 8-year-old got up and she wants to play in the splash pad. Let's go. It's 3 a.m. Like, what the fuck?
The overnights. Now, another one that you sent me, this is an absolute monster, about Think Brewery.
Oh, Good Robot, yes. And
yeah. So with notes here. So Think Brewery was making beer, and the head brewmaster, or the owner of the company, had more of a desire to make alcoholic beverages, but he still wanted to make beer. He wanted to increase the production. He got in contact with Robot Brewing Company. They came with an agreement to focus on the beer and its quality and really crank up the distribution. Robot Brewing received a $25,000 down payment. The expansion was, I don't have the numbers for expansion, but it was huge. There was an agreement that the beer could change a little bit in its taste, because that's something that can happen, because a recipe just sometimes isn't built for mass distribution to be the same product. That goes for anything, Kentucky Fried Chicken, root beer, A&W, what have you. The beer was released, and the beer tasted absolutely nothing like the original product. The complaints were generally that it lacked the ingredients that it discussed. Flavors is what it mentions in the article. So they cranked it up, watered it down, and cranked it out, and now Think Brewery is pissed.
Yes, and also Good Robot says that Think has not paid them all their money. Think says that Good Robot has not made all the beer, that they're short something like 30,000 cans of beer.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Good Robot's like, well, they were involved in every step of the way. Here's the thing with contract brewing, and contract brewing is a great idea. You don't have the overhead. You're basically paying to hold your product after it's been made, for the canning or bottling materials, and for the company to make it for you. The thing is, there is 2 ways that contract brewing happens. One way is the brewery makes it completely for you. You
Right.
are not there. They make it. They are supposed to follow your specifications and everything, but it's their equipment, their people, all that stuff. The other way is that you're a well enough known person that they let you make it yourself on their equipment. I don't think if I wanted my company to taste a certain way and know it had to taste a certain way, that I would go to somebody that did it the latter way, where you had to be non-existent in it and you just gave them the recipe. I
Right.
think I would find somebody that wants you to go in and do it yourself.
That's an excellent point. Quality control.
And I mean, again, like we talk all the time. We've talked for years about it. Everybody's talked for years about it. It is almost impossible to make a craft beer taste the exact same over and over and over again.
Yes.
Every variant, every new canning of it is going to have slight differences because you have different hop yields, you have different wheat yields, you have different malts, and again, they're not even brewing it in the same province. So what's the water differences, right? What's the hardiness of the water in New Brunswick versus the water in Nova Scotia?
Right.
What is, like, there's so many variables at play, and you're like, here, make my beer. Here's my recipe. There's no guarantee it'll ever taste the same.
It can even change. I was going to say it can even change month by month. The fine folks at I think Zubra is their own brewery. I can't remember, but the product of Zubra beer, when you see it on the shelves in the LCBO in Ontario, its alcohol percentage will change drastically. Now, we said there is the grievance of 1 whole percentile, but you'll see the honesty in Zubra. This month it's the 5.3%. Next month it's the 6%. But that's really what's going on with most of these beers that we get in mass production.
Yeah, and people don't realize just what goes into brewing it. People don't realize just what goes into dealing with beer on a mass level. And then again, you're having people that don't necessarily have your company's best interest in mind when you're dealing with some of the contractors, because their deal is, we just need to make this beer so that we can get the next guy to make a beer, and we can get because our beer isn't selling well enough, but we have all this capacity, so let's use it and make some money.
Right.
And you see it all the time. I mean, Spearhead, when Spearhead first started, they were brewing at Cool. Spearhead had a brewer that had 25 years in the industry. Cool Brewing trusted him enough that he was allowed to work on their system. They were also brewing another beer in those vats that they didn't let the guy work on it because he was a nobody that they didn't know. He's now a somebody. He has a brewery in Ontario that's fairly well known, but at the time he was a nobody, so they wouldn't let him touch their equipment. And I mean, good on you. That some of that's, like, if you've never been in Cool's building, Cool has like multi-million dollars worth of equipment there. So I protect your assets, right? You don't know the guy, you wouldn't let him do it.
I have to make the reference with Cool Brewery that it's owned by Mr. Lodge from the Archies or Scrooge McDuck. I mean, it's a city within itself at this point. The way they keep putting on new wings at Cool Brewery with all the tanks.
No, I don't think there's many breweries in Ontario that have more capacity than them.
Help me out with something here. This is a gripe that I have, and I'm going through it with my beer reviews. As I particularly enjoy doing beer reviews on Sunday, I do it through Beer Advocate and through the thread called New Beer Sunday. It's just a neat topic. They've been doing it for years, and the idea is just to get a beer you've never tried before and do a review on it. I'm about 0 for 4 now with the last beers that I've had for beers that follow style guidelines. I'm reviewing beer. I'm not giving opinions. I haven't tasted a lot of bad beer, but at $4 or $5 a can now, when it says an IPA, and I'm going to review it, I like it to be fucking close to an IPA, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you'll go into award ceremonies and judging, and a lot of judges are like, well, the guidelines are a guideline, they're not set in stone. And I'm like, okay, I can understand that, I can get behind that, they're a guideline.
Okay.
However, you can't say, you know what, this guideline, all I'm going to do is wipe my ass with it and make whatever the fuck I want and say it's this.
Right.
Like this beer self represents as an IPA. Like, what the fuck? It's a fucking stout, right? Like a barrel aged stout. But this beer told me it's an IPA, so it's an IPA.
An
This
Irish red that started off as an Irish red. Yeah, but why don't we make it 7% and crank the hops? That's what I'm getting at. Is how are you with trying new beers, reviewing them as the albino Rhino, but finding beers that are staying within their boundaries?
Just looking at what I have on the shelf and on the floor right now. Some of them do really well, and some of them don't. I mean, I've had some beers that I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I've gotten angry, and it's going to happen. Like I legitimately, like you, if I've paid 4, 5, 6, sometimes up to $10 for a can because I think I'm going to like it because of what it says it is, it better be that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it better be what it says it is. It better not be a fucking... Like, it better not just be something masquerading. Because that's just a piss off. Especially when you've paid your hard-earned money for it. And I mean, like you, there's a lot of times I drink a beer and it's not bad, but it's nothing like it says it's supposed to be. How many reds have I had that are actually IPAs? How many pilsners do you have that are actually basically more pale ale? How many pale ales do you have that are more a cream ale? How many cream ales do you have that are more an IPA? Like, it's mind-boggling. And then the people in charge right now just kind of keep changing the... originally, when Saison came out as a style, stylistically, it was supposed to be lower ABV, like the history of the beer. They have now changed it so that it can go up to 8% before it's an Imperial Saison.
Okay. 8% Saisons?
Yeah. Like... And I get so much hate when I review a Saison because I bring up the ABV all the time. And if the ABV is over 6, I don't genuinely give it a really good mark. And I mean, even now that they're allowed to be over 6, I still wouldn't give them a good mark because you can't sit here and talk to me about the history of the beer and then go, here's your 6.5% alcohol Saison. But you just...
I like your reference to the farmer with the sigh, getting all cranked up on Saisons.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Again, made for the farmhand to keep him hydrated in the field. Here's your 6% alcohol Saison. Go work out in the field, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck?
Is it just us in here, Chad?
It might be.
Yeah. This is kind of a weird show. That's pretty much... Usually we get some comments, so I can kind of feather it out. I am fucking boiling. It's not often I'm able to keep my cool doing an interview like covered in sweat.
Well,
cool.
There is 2 people in here. They're just not talking. What was I going to say here? Yeah, I don't miss Ontario at all because of that one aspect.
Brad Jansen. Has Brad been here before? I'm not familiar with the name. Hi, Brad. Brad Jansen says, I hate the awards. They allow something near an IPA in a Pilsner category and spread out the awards so every brewery can advertise as an award winner. I think he's bang on there, isn't he?
He is, because every year they add more and more different categories, and more breweries win in a category they probably never should have been in. And it really leaves that question of what the fuck? Like, it really does.
If you could just do anything.
I like the awards because it brings out new breweries that I've never tried. It brings out, it puts on my radar things that I've never heard of. But other than that, I have no desire to do anything with the awards. Even even when I've judged, I've gotten angry. I've gotten angry because people are like, "Well, this is really good. I'm giving it this," and I'm like, I'm in charge of a table, right? Say I'm the guy in charge of the table, and we're doing the Pilsner and lager styles, and somebody's drinking something that's so hopped up that it should not get anything good, and they're like, "This is really good. I'm giving it my highest marks," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Then I get in trouble because I shouldn't be rude. but and then
As a
the other Chris has
consumer,
brought up. Yeah,
how
go
much,
ahead as a consumer.
how much does it appeal to you that a beer has won an award?
Not really any at all. I mean, especially after being on. Sorry, there's something on my shirt, and I don't know what the fuck it is. Especially after being on the judging committees and all that, and knowing other people that have been on the judging committees, and having conversations with one of the people that gave Muskoka Cream Ale the top marks in the Pale Ale category. After conversing with these people, I care so little about something winning an award that it's not funny. I talk about the awards for content. I talk about the awards, and I read the awards. I read the awards so that, again, I can be shown a beer or a brewery that I've never heard of and go, I wonder if I should try that. But other than that, I just do not give one shit anymore. Chris isn't moving. I think Chris died. Yeah, the only award they should be after is getting return customers. You are correct. Chris has frozen completely. Look at that. He is a statue. Christopher is a statue. Getting more customers, getting return customers, that should be all you want. To be able to put that little logo on your 6-packs or on your cans, who cares? Everybody's won an award. Fuck. Trafalgar won Best New Brewery after they had been a brewery for 12 years because they had never gone to the awards. They're a new brewery. Like, what the fuck you guys talk about here? He usually says something profound. He usually does. We'll do that until he's back in the saddle, as so to speak. Yes, Grand River won awards. I cannot think of a reason. Is your award, you taste like butter? Like, what the fuck? I remember when they had the American lager category, right? So you're looking for something like this. You're looking for the big guys. You're looking for the big guys because that's what the American lager is. It is this, and it was all craft brews that won. And I'm like, what the fuck? If I'm looking at an American light lager, a craft brewery, at least back at that point in time, no craft brewery was doing an American light lager properly. They were hopping the shit out of everything. So why pretend that what you have means anything? And yeah, like I said, it's disheartening. It's disheartening to see awards that really mean absolutely nothing. You know the one that hurt when the awards were in Niagara Falls, because I had been a guest to the. Oh, that's what it is. I'm peeling my fucking logo off. I had been a guest to some of the awards. I had been this. I had been that. I had been a fucking judge, and then they came to Niagara Falls, and I didn't get a message from anybody. All these breweries that I was friends with were there, and not one of them sent me anything. I was very disheartened. Maybe it's because I speak the truth too much. Maybe it's just because I'm an asshole. I don't know. Yeah. What else do you want to talk about there, Brad? It's 8:30 for you, so we're getting late on a Saturday night. Nobody? Oh, sorry. My wife keeps sending me pictures of our daughter at the splash pad, and I'm not feeling great. So, because I'm not feeling great, I didn't go, and yeah, it's also way too sunny out there for these albinos to be out and about. It really is. Oh, excuse me. Wow, Chris still isn't back. I'm a little surprised. He's usually fairly quick at this stuff. There's the Ottawa Senators. Well, if I'm being honest, I thought it was going to be Florida in 4 or 5, so. Oh, my Lord.
Well, hello.
How in the fuck are you?
I am fantastic. Still in rural internet territory, but at least I can join something now and again. How the fuck are you?
Well, I am now in the land of the rising sun. No, I am in I'm in Saskatchewan now, so the flattest part of Canada.
All right. There you go. That's okay. How's Saskatchewan working out for you?
It's working out pretty damn good, to be honest. Best paying job I've ever had. My wife has the best paying job she's ever had. Our house is okay.
Sounds pretty goddamn positive.
Oh yeah, cost of living's less than Ontario, so we got that going.
Fuck yeah. Oh my god, I could only imagine. Because the cost of living in Ontario is stupid.
Oh yeah, like this house. If I was to buy a house comparable to this one in almost anywhere in Ontario, I'd be spending $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. I wasn't even at 2. I was not more than 1.5.
It's amazing. Awesome. Glad to hear it.
Can I see the CN Tower from where I am? Oh. No, but I mean, if you were to, the drive from Winnipeg to Regina is 5 hours, and you turn once. Like there's one turn, so it's a straight line and it's all flat. There's one hill and it goes over a little lake, and then it comes back down to the same level. Flat, empty, and straight.
Well, so you kind of have to keep your wits about you when you drive. It's kind of like when you drive through the Midwest of America too. Don't fall asleep. Don't go through a fucking cornfield. Just kind of stay awake.
Yeah, no. It's been great. Really, really sunny. Like I can't see when I go outside. It's that kind of sunny. it's not albino friendly, the sun. But the heat,
Right.
From what I hear, the heat is comparable to Ontario by temperature notes, but the humidity is next to nothing. It's a dry heat, and I love that idea too because you go to the shade and it's fucking cool.
What? How long have you lived there?
We moved here February 10th.
Okay, so this is your first summer.
Yep.
Okay, cool. How have you been faring so far?
It's been nothing but rain up until today. Today was the first day it hit 20.
Yeah. Well, we actually just got the opposite. We were camping. We were camping in southern Pennsylvania, southwestern Pennsylvania, whatever. And it was, I don't know the conversion off the top of my head, something like that, but it was almost 100 degrees every single day. And we were just absolutely dying because we sleep in the back of the truck with no air conditioning or anything. So it was absolutely fucking brutal. And then as a joke, because Mother Nature does that, I drive back home 4 hours, and wouldn't you know, it drops 25 fucking degrees. I'm like, what the fuck? This is stupid. So all of a sudden now I'm just chilling on my porch, drinking a beer, watching the rain.
So
the raindrop
would be 37.7 Celsius.
Yeah, so it was 37.7 there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Now all of a sudden it's probably about 20. Stupid.
Brad, you would think so, but I haven't seen many solar panels out this way. It is rather flat, so I mean there isn't a lot to block solar panels. There's not a lot of trees until you get to northern Saskatchewan. It's pretty open here. I also love people here complain about the traffic. They're like, traffic's horrible. We go out in rush hour and it takes us an extra 4 minutes to get home. I'm like, you guys have no fucking clue what traffic can be like.
Traffic is, yeah.
The entire province of Saskatchewan has less people than the GTA.
What drove you to Saskatchewan?
Cost of living and house prices. Originally, when we originally went to the Arctic, we were going to go either out east to Nova Scotia or New Brunswick, or we were going to come out west to Saskatchewan. And during COVID, so many people in Toronto and all that went to the East Coast. So it drove housing prices up like 7 times more than they were. Like there was a house that was on sale for $35,000, and then when the big housing boom happened, that exact same house by the same seller with nothing done to it had jumped up to like 215. Like, yeah, no, I'm not going out there now.
Right. No, I was over in Montana a couple years ago visiting a friend, and basically everybody from California, because they wanted that freedom and the country and the whole deal, they all moved there. They actually it was called Bozeman. It is called Bozeman, Montana, and they actually started calling it Bose Angeles because there were so many Californians that moved there. And of course, everything skyrocketed. Now, it was that country rural life that they loved visiting, but they live there now. So now there's a Starbucks on every corner. A gallon of milk costs $15, and it ruined it. Same deal.
So the population of Toronto in 2016 was 5.92 million. Saskatchewan's population as of 2019 was 1.1 million for the entire province.
For the whole damn thing.
Yeah. So 5 times more people live in just the GTA than live in this province. And people are complaining about the fucking traffic. I'm like, you guys have no clue.
There can't even physically be that much traffic.
No, physically. Like we are the second biggest city. We're the second biggest city in the province, and we have like 245,000 people.
Right. No,
it's spread out a good deal.
People complain about the city traffic here too. I mean, and well, obviously I don't live in a city, but I visit the cities often around me, and they complain about the traffic here. When I go through, let's just say Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens in New York, right at 3 in the morning, that traffic there at 3 in the morning is worse than the traffic here at 5 p.m. But they can't seem to understand that.
Well,
They
yeah,
can't get it.
I was talking to one of the girls that works with me at my place of business, and I'm like, yeah, you guys get nothing. And she's like, you're joking, it can't be that bad. And one of the ladies that was in the break room with me goes, I went to Canada's Wonderland. She goes, okay. She goes, my daughter lives in Vaughan. She goes, okay. She goes, Canada's Wonderland is in Vaughan. She goes, okay. Because we were like 15 kilometers away from Canada's Wonderland. It took us 6 hours to get there because of the traffic. She's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? And she's like,
That's it.
there.
That's it. Yeah. No, I for a brief time, about 2.5 years, whatever, something like that. I dated a girl from Southern California. It was Casey Kasem's daughter, actually, and I dated her for just a little bit. I don't know how the fuck we met up, kismet or whatever, or just the cosmos torturing me, whatever. But with 5 miles away from something, 5 miles. 45 minutes to do 5 miles. This is fucking stupid. I got out and I started walking. Fuck this. Here's the keys. You drive. I'm done.
No, it's insane. And I mean, I think that this province is the same as anyone that's been working at one job for too long, right? They
They don't take it. They take it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they don't realize what they have.
Right.
Like they're complaining all the time about, oh, it takes so long to get this, it takes so long to get that. I'm like, what are you talking about? We put in for my wife's license and my ID. We had our stuff in like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, that's a long time. I go, you did the same thing in Ontario. You'd be waiting 6 to 8 weeks.
I told a lot of people that I grew up with that started mouthing off about this stuff. And I didn't mean to be mean or anything. I don't mean to be mean when I mouth off. But they were talking about like America this, America this. I said, go travel Europe and stuff for a while. Go see the world. Why? Just go see the world. I'm telling you, just go see the world, travel around, see shit, go to a couple other countries, come back here. You'll get it. You'll get what I'm talking about once you get back. And they didn't get it until they got back. And they're like, oh, no, I see what you're saying. Nope, we're good. We're fine. It's okay. It's like, yep, yeah, you're good.
Like, and it's the same. Like the place I work, a lot of my employees, a lot of my team members have been there for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years even. And they talk to me all the time about how, maybe they want to find a new job or they're disliking it for this reason or disliking it for that reason. And I'm like, then you know what? I don't want to say anything bad to you, but I've worked in a lot of places over my life. I've worked in a lot of places. Probably the best place I've worked is right here. I go, what they're paying you versus what they're doing for you and everything else, you have it fucking good. Go, but there's no hard feelings. This is business. If you feel like you need to go somewhere else, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I don't think you realize what you have because you haven't been out in the working world in a long time.
I have actually moved through a couple businesses for different reasons, for family or for monetary. And I've never found a business that ever said, we want you to stay in a negative way. They said, no, if this is better for you, we want you to make sure that you're okay. Like they give you that kind of like, no, if you feel that you need to go because of this, go for it. Go get out there. I mean, I think some of them laugh behind their breath because they know that you're just doing it because you don't realize what else is out there. But they at least that most professional businesses treat it like that, like exactly what you just said. Go out, do it. Make sure if it's for you, go get it.
Yep. Well, my wife started a job within like 2 days of us landing here. She started a job. She had the day after we landed, she had her interview. An hour and a half after her interview, they offered her the job, and she started like 2 days later.
Sounds like they need people.
Yeah, they do, especially in certain industries. Highest job vacancy in the entire country is this province.
No shit.
But so she did her job. She was there for 3 months. Her last day there is this Friday. because she found another job. They called her for an interview, and her job is in the same field. She has a bunch of degrees and everything, right? Her job is in her field, and the job she's doing is in her field, but it's a supervisory role, and so it's more money. She gets her benefits right away. Her job right now that she's at, she didn't get benefits until she hit 6 months, and also, it's legitimately a 2-minute walk from our house. Like, it's across the fucking street. It's across the street from the kid's school. And where she's working right now is in White City, so it's a 15-minute drive out of the city.
Yep.
And she told them that she was leaving, and they've done nothing but given her grief about it. Like,
yeah,
in front of
we
parents
just started,
and stuff, right? Like clients, they're like, she's leaving because everybody just wants a job in the city. She's like, maybe you should look at what you're saying and think about why I'm leaving, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, most of the jobs around here, the bigger ones, like I've worked for a couple of people recently, Kellogg's and stuff like that, where I made a lot of money, which I did. But I left there. They actually sit down and talk to you, like, why are you leaving? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because they want to know why you're losing people.
Yeah,
they care. Like, hey, we're losing this guy that's valuable. Why are we losing you? You know what I mean? Like that. We want to know so we can like either fix what we're doing or not lose another guy. You know, they actually, at least they feign the idea of caring. So giving someone grief for leaving is the absolute opposite of that.
Yeah, no,
that's not good.
No, it isn't. I started a job I had a job lined up when we came here, and it was to be the assistant manager at a PV Mart. A PV Mart is like a rural/hardware type of store, right? So it does a lot of animal feed, it does farmer supplies, it does hardware, it does plumbing, it's all that type of stuff.
Yep.
And when we left, it was the only job that would offer me a job because nobody wanted. I had lots of interviews, but nobody wanted to offer me a job because I wasn't in town yet, right? I was still in the Arctic. So they gave me the job. I got here. I took a pay cut to do it. Saskatchewan is a higher taxation than Ontario. It's probably the third highest taxation in Canada, but
really,
it also has the most benefits in Canada. Like there is so many programs and everything else that it's not really funny. Digressing though, so I took a job. It was paying me $6,000 less than I was making in the Arctic. I was interviewing for the job I have now, and I had to go through like 7 fucking interviews for this job, and it was the weirdest thing ever because they were all like group interviews. You would go in, and you'd sit down, and you'd have like the store leader, you'd have an assistant leader, you'd have leaders in training, you'd have cashiers, you'd have maintenance guy. Like everybody that works in the store gets a chance to ask you questions because they want to know if they're willing to work with you, right? Like, does this guy seem like he's somebody that I can work with? I got to my final interview, my 7th interview, and it's with the district leader, and he's like, first and foremost, do you have any questions for me? I go, not really. This is interview 7, man. If I had a question, it's been answered by now. He's like, well, this is your last interview. I go, no, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just saying, if I had a question, I would have asked it in my other 6 chances.
Yeah.
I go, do you have any questions for me? He goes, actually, I do. He goes, what did PV Mart pay you? And I told him, and he started laughing. He goes, okay. He goes, you have a good day. And they called me like the next day to say I had the job. They were paying me, like PV Mart was paying me to be their assistant store manager, what my current company pays their cashiers.
Right. Obviously. Yep. A little bit lower.
Yeah. I went the $6,000 I lost going from the Arctic to them. I made that up, and I made another $10,000 on top of that. So
I'll give you a little.
Was a $16,000 bonus.
I'll give you a little story. Okay, so I was working. I was talking to you then about just the same. So I left the foundry. I worked for 10 years. I went to a Conair, which is a aluminum extrusion place, similar but different. Whatever. Was a maintenance guy there. Figured out everything was easy. Whatever. This one guy fucked himself over. So I was like, okay, well, I'll become a supervisor. Supervisor, boom, boom, boom. Now I was a team lead. Then I became a maintenance supervisor. So I was a maintenance supervisor. Blah blah blah. Did that for a while. And then Kellogg's was looking for a maintenance supervisor. I was like, oh, whatever. So I went to a maintenance supervisor position in Kellogg's. let's just say it was a massive jump in pay. And then I was looking at Conair, because obviously you still get notifications when people are looking for jobs. And I saw Conair was looking for a maintenance supervisor. And what they posted, and I heard this and I had no confirmation, but what they posted versus what they would tell you if you were an internal hire was way above what they were paying me at the time. So internally, when they fuck you internally, they raise you a couple cents. When they bring you from the outside, they pay you a shit ton more money. So it's hilarious what companies will do.
Oh yeah, no, and the company I'm with right now, they have applications from almost every single person that works for me at the other place to come work with me here.
Because you talked them up. That's right. You talked them up. You get that good shit going.
It's not even just talking up. They don't want to work with the other two managers there. They want to work with me.
Right. No, that's good. That's rapport. That's something that carries with you. Absolutely.
And yeah, it's weird to think about. Also, on top of that, at my last place of business, I had to pay for my benefits. I would have good benefits from them, but I'd have to pay for them. This company pays my benefits, so that's even more money in my pocket, right?
Right. No, that's great. That's great. It's good.
Alicia had to pay her benefits at the job she's leaving. At the job she's going to, she pays 50% of her benefits, which still is much better than paying the whole thing.
It's still better. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and she can walk to work every single day. She gets a higher pay. She's actually moving up in the industry instead of staying stagnant at the bottom.
Yeah. Now, as long as her job is good, she can keep her job at home. You know what I mean? She can keep her job at her work, all that kind of crap. Awesome. It's the only thing I don't like about having a job close to my house is it's hard to keep your job at home when it's or work rather, when it's so close to your house. Other than that, everything's
I'm actually supposed to check my email every few hours, my work email. And I reminded them a few days ago, I'm like, there is a disconnect law in Canada. I'm not checking my email. I'm not working.
Yeah, I can't actually do that. It's illegal, buddy.
I mean, they giggle at who I am and all that. They're like, people seem to love you. And I go, yeah, I don't understand why. I'm not very friendly, but apparently I am.
Mm-hmm. No, I know you. You're not. You're an asshole.
So to what Brad's asking how Saskatchewan's health care is compared to OHIP. They pay a little bit more different things than you guys do. Doctors, there is lots of doctors here. There is lots of doctors. A lot of people don't have a family doctor, but a lot of them have chosen that on their own because they only want a white family doctor, and a lot of doctors are immigrants. So we got here, we hadn't actually really looked. And then we looked, and we had a doctor in a day. We went to visit her. She's like, yeah, this is a problem some people have with us. I go, do you have a doctor's certificate? She goes, yeah. I go, do you keep all your licenses good? She goes, yeah. I go, you gonna take care of our family? She goes, yeah. I go, you're fucking hired. I don't give a shit. I need a doctor. So it was what it was. Other than that, their health cards are fucking ugly as sin. I will give them that. Their fucking health cards are ugly as sin. But it's pretty good. You don't have the same weight at all as you do in Ontario. But again, Saskatchewan has 1.17 million people. Toronto alone has almost 6. So there's a reason you don't have a weight as much. If you're in some of the outskirt places, if you're in a lot of the little towns and stuff, you may have a problem because there's probably not going to be a hospital very close to you. If we get seriously hurt and the Regina Hospital cannot take care of us, we have to go to Saskatoon. Saskatoon is 3 hours away. So, yeah, there is that. But again, that's more a population problem and the spread of the population than anything else.
I looked online, and you're a little far, but you're not too far for a drive. Not too bad.
Oh, Regina from you?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I got a truck now with a bed and we could actually set up a fucking air mattress and shit in the back that we do all like for me that's cake. We could do that.
Well, I also
cake
have
stuff.
I have a loft that's empty.
No, there you go. So we got a place to stay other than the truck when we get there. Fucking cake. That's cake.
Or you can be like you can live in the garage.
And I just got I'm trying to tell her to do it, but I just got my passport. I'm actually going to the old Niagara Falls this July for a little meetup with a couple of brew tubers that I don't fucking know, but whatever. I'm sure they're cool. Yeah, it's one of those. I don't. Oh, you might not go. You're gonna go meet someone on the internet you don't know. I'm like, I think I can handle myself.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I made some good friends doing that a few years back.
Yeah, I think I was okay then. And, you know, I was gonna say, like, if they were really shady people, I would drink a bunch of bourbon to beat them all up. But we're not gonna do that. It's gonna be okay.
So I'm guessing you're doing like brew by me, not brew by me. Sorry, beers for breakfast, facts for snacks.
Yeah. Drew, I guess, and Drew's gonna be there, and so is Alex, the beer man, and then I think. I'm trying to say Shane Craft Beer Reviews.
Yeah,
I think Rod. I heard Rod J's
in Niagara.
Yeah. Rod J's gonna come up. So if Rod J's coming up, I'm definitely gonna meet him. Just so I can tap him right in the balls. Boom. There's your nut shot. You dick.
You know he's not coming now, right? He's heard that.
Ah, come on. Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, I was 2020. 2019, something like that. I was like 30 miles away from his house. He's like, yeah, we can't do this. My wife doesn't want me to show up. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. So I kept on going. Then I went down to Frankfurt and had a great time. So it's not a big deal.
Oh, his wife didn't want him to do it. So we were sitting at a restaurant Thursday. I believe it was Thursday. And we're sitting at the restaurant on Thursday, and a dessert gets delivered to our table. And I get, my table sent this dessert over to you. And my wife looks at me and goes, how the fuck do you have a stalker already? We haven't been here long enough. What are you talking about? I don't know any women here.
You got a lot of stalkers back in the old days? Oh, that's a whole other story you got to tell me after this story. Okay.
So she looks over at the table, and there's a guy waving. She goes, okay, it's a guy. So it's a fan of your channel. And then my phone beeps, and I look at it. I go, oh, no, it's the other assistant store manager. That's who's over there. She goes, oh. She looks at the cake. She goes, tell him he's accepted. And she starts eating the damn cake.
Yeah, there you go. You got stalkers. So you got a little bit of stalker action going. You got not two Asian twins, is it?
No, I've had lots though. Like we used to go to we would go to in Welland, we would go to this Popeyes, and there was this little East Indian lady that would always hit on me, even right in front of Alicia, and she'd be like, I'm married to him. And she's like, oh, that's okay. She's like, what do you mean it's fucking okay?
Okay.
And I would get extra chicken fingers and stuff every time we went. And she's like, you have a fucking lady giving you extra chicken fingers. I don't get somebody giving me extra chicken fingers. I'm like,
you know what? I would actually like, no, but you can share in my chicken fingers. So
that's what I said to her. I'm like, I can give you the chicken finger.
Both. Like, honestly, if I was getting bathed with free food everywhere I went, I would be like, babe, you can eat this food too. So shut up and get fat, bitch. Like, that's how that would work. Like,
yeah, it's kind of what I said to her. I'm like, I can give you the chicken finger, and then you have a secret.
Yeah, and I can fuck you because you got a fat ass because you eat all my chicken fingers. Like, we're working out as a team right now. We're team building.
Yeah, no.
Because you know me, the fatter ass are the better pushing for me. I like the girls with the big booties, so that's also good. So all is good.
You need to know the exact outfit I was wearing. It's in Welland. There's only one Popeyes in Welland.
Really?
Well, Welland's not all that big either. I mean,
No.
it's like 120,000 people.
Welland. It ain't Guelph. I think that's where Wellington Brewing Company is in Guelph. I think.
Yep.
Guelph. Yeah.
Do you still have the Jag?
No, the Jag. I actually got rid of it. I got rid of it. I sold it. It's gone. Dead. I wanted to fix it, but you know what? I just didn't have any time or money. I got divorced. Shit got down. Shit got weird. I got really poor. Never mind. It's all gone. It's all gone. So
yeah, no, I got divorced. Shit got weird. I got poor. I understand.
Yep, it's all that shit. So still got the house. Still got the house. That's all I care about. Still got the house. Still I got the kids. Kids are good. I'm good. Fucking my daughter that you know that I'm talking about, my two kids, they're teenagers now. They're almost fucking 16, 17. Like, this is fucking stupid. Fucking stupid.
Once they graduate from high school, man, you're old.
Fuck. I mean, I'm old now. I'm in my 40s now. Fuck. Last time I saw you, I was in my 30s. This is bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm in my 40s now. Last time I saw you, I was in my 30s.
Yeah, but you've always been albino. Fucking, this is bullshit. I'm albino. This is bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit with the white hair. Now I know how it feels. Bullshit. That's what it feels like, a big pile of bullshit.
And Brad, I just always wore my flashy Hawaiian shirts when I went.
Oh, yeah. You did have some snazzy ass Hawaiian shirts, didn't you?
The best, she gave me the most chicken fingers extra when I walked in with my pink flamingo flip-flops, my pink flamingo shirt, and my pink flamingo shorts.
I think there is a euphemism in there somewhere.
And my wife kept yelling at me that was too much flamingo, and there's never too much flamingo.
Apparently, that was exactly the right amount of flamingo.
Oh, yeah. It was like
4
extra chicken fingers.
Yeah. Boom, done. How you doing, ma'am? I'm doing just fine. How's your pussy doing? Because it needs a little bit of fucking albino rhino in it. I'm just saying right now.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that. Oh, you're a little Irish? Yeah. Are you? No? You want a little Irish in you? I've thrown that line out there. It's got me a little bit. Not got me a lot, but it's got me a little bit. It works now and again. Very sparsely. Scottish, I think, works way better than Irish, though. So the people that roll in with a kilt, they just fucking tear the house down. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Excuse me.
I have never been competent in those fields, but I have so many goddamn cats running around fucking with my hops that pisses me off. I started growing hops here recently, so I'm trying to do the hop business.
And you have cats eating them on you?
No, they're just fucking around with the goddamn hop strings, pissing in the hops. Goddamn cats.
My mother fucking St. Bernard pisses into my fire pit all the time.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, that's where it goes. No, but that's where it's going, I guess.
Yeah, he walks right up to it, he sniffs it, he lifts his leg, and he fills the fucking fire pit. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Next time I fucking fire up, I'm just gonna smell you the whole fucking hour, dick.
Have a good one, Brad. Oh yeah, and that's the thing, right? I light up the fire, and all I can smell is fucking piss. And it's not like he pisses a little bit. When he pisses, it's
no, it's goddamn. It's like a horse pissing. Oh, I know it. That's all good. Yep. I dug up the only thing that's saving me right now. I dug up some of the hops that died because I don't know why, but I'm on a slope, and some of my hops, one hop would be good, the other hop dies. One hop would be good, the other hop dies. So I've been digging up the dead ones and repotting them, and that's the hole they kind of dig in lately. So that's good. That's okay. Oh, you're gonna come up here and fucking gloat the fact that you just dug up my hops? Fuck you. Piss off. I feed the cats. I don't like animals, but I feed them. I'm not one of those ones that feels much emotion towards animals, but at the same time, I take care of babies and I feed the animals. I think that's okay.
Yeah, see, we have the Great Pyrenees. She's here to protect the house. We have the Saint Bernard, who is here to be a house hippo, and we have the Bernese Mountain Dog, who is just here to be a fucking moron.
Yeah, sounds about right. I like the one the house hippo. I'm just here to get in the way. I don't
That's
care
all
what
he
you're
does.
doing. I'm just here to get in the way.
He laid
You
down
should have,
today and he almost knocked the TV off the TV stand because he crashed
you
into it with his giant ass.
you should have got a pig. Those big old pot bellies. That's all they do. They just get big, and they walk around and they get in the way. That's all they do. That's their job.
Yeah, we had somebody try to break into the house our first week here. My wife forgot to close the bathroom window.
No shit.
And the Great Pyrenees tried to eat his face, and nobody's come near the house since then.
Well, one, I'm sorry that someone tried to break in your house. That's bullshit. And then two, I'm glad that the dog made sure he didn't do that. That's good.
Well, that's why we've had a conversation, right? We're like, at some point, we're going to have 4 dogs just for about a year, because I don't think the Saint Bernard will ever protect the house. I know the Bernese Mountain Dog won't. You fucking pet him, he'll let you stab us to death in our sleep.
Right.
So we're not in a bad part of town, but there are some sketch bags. So it's one of those things where we're thinking that about a year or so before the Great Pyrenees should go, like before she should die, we'll bring a Rottweiler in, and she can teach the
I was gonna say,
the house.
you get a Rottweiler in there, you make sure you punch it every time you feed it, you get it all fucking angry, and then boom, bam, boom, you got some protection. Rottweilers, I mean, I don't know. Rottweilers are better than Beagles. Beagles bark at everything. Beagles just bark and bark and bark and bark. A Rottweiler or a pincer might be pretty good, but they bite everything. So if you bring a kid in, you're getting bit. So I think a Rottweiler might be a better choice. Pit bull, maybe. I don't know, but I think you have the right plan right there. Just wait until that guy almost goes, put another person in his place. Boom, bam.
Yeah, she can teach him for a year or so, and then
Teach him. Yeah. Just put it under the wing. The whole thing, as long as she doesn't fucking kill him.
She watches the Bernese Mountain Dog, who is the puppy of the 3. She watches him beat up the Saint Bernard, and she tries to teach the Saint Bernard how to fight. And he's like, "Huh? Why are you biting me?"
What is happening right now? I don't understand. Yeah.
I'm 180 pounds, and you guys are all smaller than me. What are you doing?
Some dogs are just dumb. Just dumb. I heard Irish wolfhounds are actually pretty good. So
you can't get them around here, though. Like, mostly what you're going to find here is like Caucasian shepherds, and they're too much protection. Hard to train. I have kids. Don't want them around the kids. Dobermans, again, too much protection for what they can do. Great Pyrenees, and I don't ever want another nocturnal dog after this one. I love her. Don't want another one.
Well, she's up all night.
Oh yeah.
Really?
And then Rotties. Those are the 4 big ones that you can normally get, and then you got like your collies and everything else, because it is a farm province. And
I'll tell you what, though, I had when I was talking to you normally, I had 2 black and tan coonhounds, and people would not come on my property because they thought they were Rotties. So it does make a difference. People do like, oh shit, there's a Rottweiler. I'm not coming on there. They can see that, and they definitely respect it. I'm like, they're coonhounds. Like, can't you see their big floppy ears? And when they bark, they go, ooh. Can't you tell that? But they would not, like, a lot of times they wouldn't deliver my shit because they thought they were Rottweilers.
Well, remember when I had the boxer, I had the cops called on me once because somebody said I had a pit bull, and pit bulls weren't allowed. And I'm like, he's not a pit bull. What the fuck are they on?
Like, can't you see? Like, it's what's your problem? Yeah, but people are stupid, so.
Sure, he has a spiked collar on. That's just to make people think he's scary. He won't fucking do anything to
No,
anybody.
he's not really scary. He might stab you because he's trying to love you.
Yeah, because that's all
Love,
he did. He wanted everybody to love him.
love stabs. I mean, there you go. I mean, who hasn't been afflicted by a love stab now and again?
Now, the female I had back then when you came, like my last dogs I owned by myself, she was a little cray cray, and she would protect me to the death. But she was apparently Mastiff and Shepherd mixed, but she was abused before I rescued her. So I was her savior, and she loved me to death, and she would do anything for me.
Right. Yeah. Oh, last time I was there was this dog that was just, he didn't give a shit what was going on. He wanted belly rubs and he smelled like shit the whole time. Every time.
Oh,
Just
that was when I was married to my ex-wife. That fucking
Yeah. Remember that dog? It was just like, whatever, it's okay. I'm covered with crap. It's everything good. Yeah, that was him. He was like, oh, okay. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, the Ottoman with legs, that little tiny thing.
Yep. He was spunky. I'll tell you, he was spunky.
Oh, I don't miss that life I had.
Neither do I.
So it's what, like after 9 where you are right now?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get going. I gotta go. I actually have to get up at 4 a.m. So I just got back from camping today. We were camping about 4 hours south of us, and unfortunately, it was 95 degrees every day. So I'm just right now. I've been trying to like get some food cooked, and at the same time trying to cool the house down so we could sleep. And it seems like everything's leveling out. So I think
see, it's 7:20 here, so it's great.
Yep. Well, thank you for letting me join, and I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty, have a good one, sir.
Cheers.
Well, it's back to just me. And I think, yeah, there's no viewers or anything. So, yeah, thank you guys. It was great. It was a good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.